What's going on, guys? Welcome to April's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered to us throughout the month on PlayStation Plus, and at the end of the month, we talk about them. I'm Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Josh.
And yeah, the games we played this month were The Surge and Conan Exiles. As of right now, they have not announced May's games yet, but apparently there's some leaks that say that it's going to be Metal Gear Survive and Darksiders War Mastered Edition. If this is true, what do we think about this?
To be honest, I'm only interested about Darksiders War Mastered Edition. And even then, my interest is low.
You're not excited for Metal Gear Survive?
Nope.
Fortnite?
I played the beta and I was done with it.
0.5 Save the World Edition? No. Chevy?
I mean, obviously we're going to be playing them, but I think
If this is true.
if this is true, for transparency's sake, if Metal Gear Survive is on there, I'm going in there with pretty negative opinions right off the get-go.
I thought you were going to say neutral. I'm like, fucking, can't let them get away with what they did to Kojima.
No, I'm actually I'd be really annoyed to even have to play it. So,
Yeah. Because it's kind of part of the thing. We can just boycott it. The channel doesn't fucking support it. I'll be playing it as much as I've already played the beta and I fucking hated it. Maybe I'll hop in for like 5 seconds, check it out, and then trash it. So just give an F.
it might be my first one. And then, Darksiders. I remember that you said we played the second one, and I'm trying to remember.
That's how memorable it is.
I'm trying to remember what I graded it, or just in general. So I don't know. I'll have to go back and
see.
I kind of want to go back and see what I said, and then compare it to that and see how the two games stacked up. I guess. So.
This one came out before the fucking second one too, so I don't know if it's gonna be as good or not. Yeah, so Metal Gear Survive, like I said, I've already played it. I'm not a big fan of it. If this is true, I will play it for a second just for the show. That's it. I don't really have an interest in playing this or buying it or anything like that. And I may uninstall it pretty early on just because, I think it's fair for us to judge games based off their merits. It does feel kind of wrong to play this game, in my opinion, just because I'm a huge Kojima fan and what Konami did and what they're doing now doesn't sit well with me. But for the show, I'll do it. And Darksiders War Master Edition. The second one was a lot better than I thought it'd be, but it's still not really my type of game. I have a feeling this one's going to be the same. So we'll see when we get to it. But depending on what our game of the month next month is, I might be playing that quite a bit in comparison to these two games. We'll find out once we have these confirmed, or we find out this is completely fucking wrong, hopefully, and we get different games. So another quick reminder that our game of the month is ending at the end of this month, which is Civilization 6. Make sure to play that. Come back later this week. We'll be talking about it on Game of the Month, and we will be announcing our new Game of the Month, which will actually be a random game this coming May, which will be cool. After that, Chris gets to pick, which will be exciting. I'll be curious to see what he picks. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. And we have a Discord link down below. Talk to us anytime, all the time. It's been very quiet in there lately. Everybody's talking about Final Fantasy 14, Brave Exvius, and I hop in every once in a while to talk about Keith wanting us to, out of nowhere, talk about our top 10 favorite games of all time on the spot, which is probably one of the more difficult things I've ever been asked in my life.
I'm pretty sure that's what I said to him. I was like,
Yeah.
that's not an easy question, man.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, Keith? What the fuck are you doing? You can't ask that. Maybe we'll do an episode on that, though. I originally, and I kind of talked about it in the Discord a bit, but I'd like to do kind of like a top 5 of like each genre and maybe each console games that are our favorites. Be a lot easier. Give us more opportunities to have more episodes, because I think it's almost impossible for me to say my top 10 favorite games of all time.
That's rough.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid fills up a lot of that, so most of them, and fuck you, Metal Gear Survive. April, we played The Surge and Conan Exiles. I think we should probably start with The Surge, because I think we're going to have less to say on that game than Conan Exiles. So in case you didn't get a chance to play it, The Surge is a Soulsborne inspired third-person action game made by the same guys who made Lords of the Fallen. I forgot their name at this point, but it's a smaller company that have made these games. They're actually making a Surge 2, which is really interesting. It's based in the future. You play a guy who, I don't even want to talk about him because it's kind of revealed in the very beginning, the thing about him, but he essentially is going to get work, and which involves exosuits, and things go awry, and you have to essentially go through a place trying to survive a major problem where you're fighting very Dark Souls like against enemies, getting loot, leveling up, and doing the bonfire thing. Checkpoint, checkpoint, checkpoint. You die, you go back, you get your fucking what is it? Tech
Scrap.
scrap, yeah. And retrieve that and go at it again until you die again. There's bosses, all that sorts of shit. It's stuff you'd pretty much expect from a game like this. We all played it. Josh, let's start with you since you are back.
Full disclosure, I did buy this game when it first came out.
So did I, just to get that out there now.
And I enjoyed it then, but not enough to warrant my time further. And the same thing happened here. It was just I got only so far, and then I literally watched Seth beat the boss that I didn't beat, and I was like, oh, okay. Which again, full disclosure, was the first fucking boss of the whole game. So I got to him, and I was like, I kind of get the gist of it. I'm just not in a place right now where I want to sit down and play this.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it best. There's deep down, there is a game in there that's really neat because it has good ideas. But it just needs more time to shine through. And in my experience, I was just like, this is a game. It works. Its ideas are neat. I think its world is cool. With the tech and the weapons, they're all different. They look neat. It's very sci-fi, which is weird for a Souls game because Souls games are usually...
I'd love to see more games within this genre that are futuristic.
Yeah,
because I think it's cool.
But I did like the art style of it. The gameplay of it at times could feel stiff. But at other times it felt fine. The boss was kind of gimmicky that I saw. And there was like a blender thing that just killed you in one fucking hit every time you walked by it.
Yeah, there's a optional boss over in the corner, and it's just this big crane that like spins really quick and hits you, or it pushes forward and hits you, and it like kills me in like 1 to 2 hits. But I watched a video on YouTube, but this guy's like, "Oh, it's not too bad," and he like just does it without even trying really. And I was like, "Yeah, it looks fucking super easy." And I try and just kick my ass. I'm like,
Yeah.
guess I need to get my technique down.
Yeah, so, and who knows? It might get better later on because you can mod your guy. You level up like any other Soulsborne game. But in this one, you can actually add like modules to your armor that ups how you get your health back. You get a guardian drone that you can summon, which is another little detail you can upgrade and change and how they work. So there's a lot of customization with your guy. I would say almost even more than Dark Souls. But at the same time, I couldn't get into it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go next. Pretty much agree with everything you've said, but to go in a little deeper, like you said, bought this when it first came out, played it a little bit, got past the first boss, went pretty far into it. I wanted to at least mimic what I did the first time I played it this time around to kind of refresh myself and get an idea of this game. And what you were kind of saying, what I said, there is a really cool game here with great ideas that weren't realized all the way. And so with that, at the very least, I really want to see a Surge 2. I want to see a Surge 2 because I feel like if they refine this game, you're going to have a really fucking good game. Because every time I play this game, especially this last time I played it, first off, it looks like it looks better and plays better. Looks like the animations are better. So I don't know if they did a patch or if I just don't remember the game as well. Or maybe I'm on PS4 Pro this time around. So maybe they've done things to make it look better. But overall, the visual style looks a lot better than I remember it looking. And it feels like it plays a lot better. But yeah, coming back to it, I actually really enjoy playing it. I love the systems and I love a lot of the ideas, but it feels like every avenue in this game that I enjoy, whether it's the combat, whether it's the progression, whether it's the level layout, whether it's the enemies, it feels like there's always a dead end to that enjoyment. So in the progression, in the first area, you're leveling, and it starts to feel kind of tired because there's not a lot of loot in the game. There's not a lot of weapons. There's plenty of weapons, but like within the first like area, you only find like 4. In Dark Souls, there's all sorts of secret weird shit. And I don't want to compare the two too much because they're actually pretty different. Although one obviously takes inspiration from the other. But I'm used to almost. I mean, even Neo, like so many games that dive into the genre offer more ways to kill things, and I think it has plenty. And I think the death animations are actually really cool. I think the executions in the game are really cool looking. They feel great, especially when they're in the middle of a fight and you're able to fucking just end it and murder them. It's pretty cool. But also, after a while, you just start getting kind of bored of the weapons you're using and the ways you fight with them. So, like I said, it's fun until you start getting kind of worn out on it. The level design is cool and there's stuff to explore, but some of the shortcuts, there's a shortcut like right next to it that you're just like, well, you could have just did one of these two shortcuts. You need like two shortcuts to the same area almost from the beginning. It just seems not lazy technically because it's giving you those shortcuts that you're gonna want and you expect in these kind of games, but it feels like they didn't plan it in the same way. It looks like they're just like, okay, just add a door to that wall and that will open later. The enemies, are interesting, but they don't offer the same kind of. After you learn their moves pretty quickly, they're really easy just to run through and kill. So there's not as much dynamic aspects to the fights, although I still find myself getting surprised and attacked and killed pretty quickly. The game's got a lot of really cool ideas. Like when I first played, I kind of hated it. The second time, I dabbled in a bit more and I enjoyed it more. In this game, when you block, you're able to, with the right stick, press up and jump or press down and duck. And at first, I'm like, I don't want to fucking time that shit every time I'm in a fight. But it's actually pretty lenient. Anytime someone does pretty much a mid attack or high attack area, if you duck, you'll go right under it. And you don't have to give them room to attack anymore. You can stay in the fight and hit them and uppercut them and shit. So it's pretty cool. But it feels like an unpolished idea. It feels like a cool idea that just is not as useful as it should be. Every once in a while you do it and you're like, that's pretty useful. But then other times you're like, I don't need to do that. So it's a cool idea. Just they really got to find a purpose and reason for it. Yeah, combat, like I said, is pretty fun. It can feel stiff though. All the weapons can feel pretty stiff. I also think the weapons in the early game, I haven't gotten that far into it. Both the first time I played and the second time. But the weapons, are pretty. I can't say they're generic because most people won't even go the route of just having like a slab of metal as a weapon, or a stick, or a fucking propeller blade or whatever the fuck. So I kind of dig the grittiness that he's just finding whatever he can to use as a weapon. But also at the same time, I never look at my guy and go, "That's fucking awesome. That's badass." It never happens. This time around, I tried the more agile exosuit. There's a light one and a heavy one. I like the agile one more. I actually didn't even know the first time I played this game that there was two suits. Let's see. The bosses lack any kind of skill checking when you fight them. It's not really about you besting them in the sense of like learning their moves and jumping around and fighting back in any kind of like Dark Souls way or Neo way. Especially the first boss. It's a big mech. And if you haven't beaten him, I mean, just a real quick fucking tip, stay close to him. He does a lot of long range shit. Stay away from his feet when he's lifting him up. Keep hitting him. Eventually, he's going to shoot missiles at you. If you're under him, the missiles will hit him. He'll go down. Keep whittling away at him. Eventually, his health will go down a lot faster after you keep going at him. At first, it seems like you're going to be fighting him forever, but it goes pretty quickly. But that fight, just as a boss battle, feels really stiff. And it feels, especially early on, kind of unfair as a fight. Just because, I mean, obviously there's a technique to it, but it's just a dude who's like kicking and swinging around his close area and not in like an interesting way, and then just shooting missiles everywhere. And it's not exciting. The fight never felt exciting before, like early on in the game. It didn't feel exciting, when I beat him. I was just more like, fuck, that's done. I can move on with my life. I don't ever feel like that in other Soulsborne games. I normally feel like I conquered something. And this, I was like, this is in my fucking way. But yeah, I like the atmosphere. I think the world is designed really cool in like a visual aesthetic. When you go underground, it kind of reminds you of Aliens. The lighting's really dark and dim and stuff like that. Kind of like what you were saying, you can mod your dude, which I really like. I think that's a really cool system that a lot of these type of games don't offer. You can get really creative with how your guys built. The drone is neat. It's cool that you can have like a pet pretty much. Kind of feels good in that sense to like not just be alone, but have an ally of some kind. And yeah, overall, I dig this game, but I don't think they really hit it where they should have. There's a good game that was almost made there, and it's held back by it's a small fucking team that they even accomplished this game and did all the execution animations and all the cool ideas and stuff is awesome. But at the same time, maybe a little more refining in the systems, and this game would be awesome. So yeah, I do want to Surge 2, and I want to see what they do with it because this game is almost a pretty good game. So without trying to sound insulting.
I just wanted to really quickly bring in the lock-on system.
Oh
Talk about
yeah,
that
I
real
forgot
quick.
to say that.
So any armor you see on somebody, you can just get those pieces. You have arms, legs, chest, and head.
Yeah, when you lock onto a person, just like in Dark Souls, you lock on them, but then you can use the right stick and you can lock onto right arm, left leg, right leg, and head.
And body.
And body, yeah. And you'll see blue and yellow. Yellow's armor, blue is not armored. And you can acquire the pieces you want if you're looking for a new leg piece, new weapon, whatever arm they're holding the weapon in. You can lob that off to get it.
Yeah, yeah. So and just another way of customizing your guy, kind of almost any way you want to. So
Which, again, that system I think is neat, but I don't enjoy it. I don't like in the middle of combat looking at individual parts of every individual person and deciding to chop it off. It's a cool idea, and I like that you're almost going like grocery shopping. Like, I really need that fucking right arm armor, but you almost get it every single time you chop it off anyway. So they might as well just. I like the idea of like not knowing if you're gonna get it or random chances of dropping stuff. It's more exciting that way. But when I'm just like, well, I need that leg piece, I'm just gonna go get it. Like, I don't know. For some reason, it's less exciting to me.
yeah, it's like a bite-sized Monster Hunter. Like you shop for a tail, or you're shopping for horns.
Yeah,
Or you're
yeah,
shopping
kind of
you
on
just
like
gotta-
a micro level.
Yeah, you just got to break that piece off. And then yeah, but even in Monster Hunter, it's like, oh shit, I didn't get it this time.
Yeah.
Valazok fangs.
Whew.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I did that alone so much. Yeah, Chevy.
I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to add to that. Essentially, just
Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
well, what I was gonna say is, I don't have a solid background with playing these type of games. If you follow the channel, I usually struggle with Soulsborne style games. So going down to or sitting down to play this, I already kind of had like a hesitation to play it, but I did go through and play a little bit of it at least, and mostly to check out the systems because I already kind of knew what I was getting into, the type of game. You know what I mean? So I went ahead and I played enough to collect the entire heavy set of armor. And then, like, I think it was 3 weapons. I found a couple hidden spots, and then I kind of played around with the farming system and whatnot. I think, you guys kind of nailed it with the stiffness aspect of it. And the one part I was going to bring up that I did actually enjoy about the game was the lock-on system and the way you can kind of pick and choose, because you can choose to do that or not do it. If you don't do it, you have significantly less chances to get things. But depending on where you're swinging, what angle you're standing at, you might get a random piece anyways that way. But if you choose to actually specifically target a spot, it drastically increases your chances of getting an item.
Yeah, and when you get to a point where you just kind of run through the same area again and he's killing people, you're not really paying attention to where you're locking on anymore. You're just killing them.
Yeah. So exactly. So when I first was going through the area farming pieces to make the heavy armor, I would specifically target the armored pieces of the people I was fighting, and then as I was just trying to get scrap to increase my power level so that I could equip the stuff, I just started swinging at them instead. So other than that, I do think the weapons are a little boring. The three I used, yeah, you start with a hunk of metal, I guess it was. I can't even remember what it was at this point. There's the metal pole that has the electricity at the end, and then the like saw blade. You don't remember the?
I don't have the electricity.
There's that yellow thing that you like. Has like a rod with two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Arcs of
it's an arm
electricity.
attachment
Yeah,
instead of a
yeah.
one-handed
I think you're talking
weapon.
about the literal fucking stick that you find.
No, so
I
yeah,
beat ass with.
I think it's like
Just
the
a stick
third or
that's a metal
fourth guy
stick.
you fight. He's walking, and his has electricity,
Yeah.
and yours isn't at that point. But yeah, I actually was expecting to stick with the one-handed weapons for speed reasons, but I ended up actually gravitating towards just that arm attachment one. It wasn't that much slower, and it hit a lot harder. So I did actually kind of go with a heavy build, which is really weird. I don't usually do that in most games. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add. I do like the gritty nature of the game, especially the beginning. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that fucking intro is crazy.
It's pretty
I
crazy.
was watching, I was like, someone made this, and the CG's not even bad. It's pretty decent. And I was like,
It's super disturbing
oh yeah, it's gross.
for sure. And so I mean, I gotta give them credit for even like going that route because it was unexpected.
It really adds an uneasiness to an already kind of horrific situation this guy's getting put into before it even happens. So it really kind of sets the tone for the game. You're like, oh shit, okay, that was fucked up.
Oh yeah,
Good. It's almost as like Elysium, like how bleak that fucking world is.
Oh yeah, God, it could be the same world
Yeah.
easily with
Yeah,
some
you're
kind of
just like-
corruption.
Yeah, you're just like, this is fucked up. And then, what, the Surge? Is that why the game's called that? Because, like, that EMP or whatever the hell happens and
I think so.
fries everybody and you survived.
Honestly, I didn't fucking pay attention a whole lot to the story both times I've played this game, but
yeah, neither.
you know, just playing to play it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, anything else you guys will say on impressions?
I mean, not so much. I mean, the game. I think you both kind of said it. It plays fine, but not exciting. Like it's kind of
My biggest frustration with this game is I enjoy it, and then I find myself not enjoying it, and then I start enjoying it again, and then I don't enjoy it, and it sucks because like that momentum dies every time I start enjoying an aspect of the game. It just kind of dead ends somewhere, and it's frustrating because it's like almost there. When I started playing again this month, I was like, oh fuck, dude, I thought I didn't really like this game all too much after I played it last time, but I'm enjoying it again, and then I ran into the same shit I ran into the last time. I was just like, I feel like I'm kind of just doing the same shit over and over again, and I'm not getting really rewarded for it. The progression's not as exciting as it should be. The modification is the most exciting part of the progression, and there's stuff to do there, but not a lot. So, yeah, it's just more frustrating than anything because I enjoy it. It's just not good enough sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, and to not comparing it, trying to compare it to Dark Souls, but it's inspired by it, so the parallels do show. But being able to see like the arm, like in Dark Souls, you'll kill like a knight, and you're like, okay, he probably drops his armor at some time. But I mean, like, shit, I've went to a bonfire and back like 60 times one time just to get a sword from a guy.
Yeah.
And like, it's that kind of excitement. Like if I just walk in and be like, all right, his left arm is the piece I want, and then I just get it. Like I'm like, I literally don't have to go back to this spot ever again or fight that guy ever again if I don't want to. Like you said, the bosses were just kind of weird brick walls that.
There's a big giant sponge that just, I mean, I equate it to like a fucking lawnmower you're running at, and you got to hit the lawnmower while you take damage, and whoever fucking has the most health and heals the most wins. And it's
an
not
endurance race.
Yeah, it's and of course you can play and do it really well or whatever, but like it's not even exciting when I did it. Like when I'm playing fucking like Father Gascoigne or the fucking and Bloodborne. When I first I beat that guy. I'm not like trying to bring him up to say I beat him on my first try, and I know a lot of people had problems with him, but like that was fucking exciting when I first fought that dude. I showed up and I was like, oh fuck, and then like it's just fast paced fighting shit. I'm dodging and shooting shit, and it was like really intense. Like I just had to like calculate the whole situation. And this, like the boss is just like, you get in there, he's like, and then fucking you hurt him enough, he jumps back and starts launching missiles at you. And I'm like, this is annoying to run back and forth doing this. So.
Yeah, trying to games like Neo and stuff like that. For me, there's a very like a little bit of pride in knowing that like I can sit there and I can look at the boss, and I'm like, okay, I need to dodge here in a second, and then I can be calculated and stuff like that. But when I watched you fight that mech, it was just swinging until your stamina was gone. Then you got away from him, and he came back, and he did it all over again. And then every once in a while he'd fall over. You're like, oh, damage to the head, and then
Well, there's also something that a lot of these guys do when it comes to bosses, and the boss will evolve as you fight it longer. And this guy is the same in the beginning of the fight as he is at the end of the fight. So you're just kind of like wearing him down over time, and then you win. And there's nothing that feels gratifying outside of that you get to go further into the game. Whereas like, you play any boss in a Dark Souls game, Bloodborne, Neo, stuff like that, you get them to a certain point and they start doing different things, different moves, and they might kill you on that fucking move. And you're like, fuck, I didn't know you could do that. And then you come back and now you're ready for that. And there's this learning process. Whereas in this, you die, you didn't learn anything. You die, you didn't learn anything. You just did the same missile thing again. You weren't fast enough. So there is a sense of like, you got to get a little better at it or whatever. But like, it just lacks an excitement level. And I've been further into the game, but like I didn't get super far into it each time I've played it. But that's pretty much the case with most of the enemies. They have about like 2-3 moves a piece, and gets really kind of monotonous, especially the same repeated enemy over and over again.
So many times you'd be running, and then of course, in true Soulsborne fashion, there's always like a guy right around the corner or something like that.
He's ready to fucking leap out at you.
Yeah, and then you'd run, and then you just go hoot and duck, and you duck underneath that first guy's strike, and I'm like, well,
yeah,
we all knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, if they make a Surge 2 and they don't bring that back, I wouldn't be upset because it's a cool thing to try out. Unless they can make it better, I wouldn't even worry if they put it back in or not, because it's a cool idea, but it just didn't work out very well. So, yeah, should we go in recommendations?
Sure.
I'm gonna go for the easy ones. If you like Soulsborne games, I think you should absolutely try this game out. If you go into comments and forums and Steam, is this on Steam? I don't think it is. I think it's only on PS4, isn't it? I don't know. I was online reading about it, and a lot of people actually really like this game. A lot of people actually really dig this game, and that's awesome to see, because like I said, it's really hard for me to even say anything really negative about this game, because I think most of what it does is really good, but it's just hard for me to keep continuing into it. But a lot of people enjoy this game. So if you are into Soulsborne games and you've played most of them, I wouldn't prioritize this as one you must play, but I think it's one you should definitely check out, because there are worse ones. That sounds awful, but it's a mid-tier one. I mean, Lords of the Fallen was another game they made, which is essentially a fucking Dark Souls clone with a couple things about it that differentiate it, but it was very much pretty much the same game. And that game I enjoyed enough, but it felt like Dark Souls light. Whereas this actually has its own identity. So I think it has more merit. I think if you want an individual experience in the same genre, this is a game you should definitely check out. Give it a try. See if you're one of the people who really enjoys it, or one of the people who can't get into it. But yeah, if you like action games, third-person action games, sci-fi games that are really dark and gritty and bloody and just kind of like horror-esque, I think this is definitely something to check out. If you like Dead Space, this might be a game you might be into, because it has kind of that vibe of like trying to survive on your own in a sci-fi apocalyptic situation. Yeah, I mean, overall, just third-person action games, Dark Souls games, stuff like that. It's not really a scary game, but it does have a thematically horror vibe to it. So I would check it out in that case. And if you like, gore and weird, like, like fucking just futuristic dark shit, you might dig this as well. Other than that, I don't know if I could really recommend this to everybody. You'd have to be already in this genre or these type of games to probably be open to want to play it. So anything else you guys want to add?
Just that it's on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okay, so I did see it on Steam.
No, that seems to be kind of the gist of people I think would enjoy it.
If you like Ridge Racer, keep playing Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
And move on to newer games. You should check out Forza Horizon. It's a great one.
Completely out topic. A dude remodded the test drive. Oh, that's not Ridge Racer. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Got any recommendations?
No.
Did I nail it? Okay, let's go into grading. We'll start with Chevy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the game, but it's not my type of game, and
Not my game.
like you kind of said as well, it doesn't do. At least in my, obviously in my gameplay, I didn't feel like it really did anything like amazing either. It has a lot of good ideas. I think the game needs some more polish, and maybe with the second one they will get that. But I think it kind of just deserves a down the middle grade, so I'm gonna give it a C.
That's fair. Passing works. Go with Josh next.
I'm also going to give it a C. It's, again, passing, works, has ideas, not polished enough. I want to see this game succeed. Just right now, it's not there.
Yeah. So C and C. I'm going little engine that could. I'm gonna go a little higher because I really see the potential there, and the shortcomings aren't super detrimental, but they do make the game hard to love for me. But I do enjoy it. I'm gonna give it a B minus. Yeah, I'm going higher than really I feel like a lot of people will, just because I enjoy the game. I think it has a lot of cool. I mean, I like most things about it. It's just slightly off, man. It's like you're cooking something and it's almost fucking exactly what you want it to be, but not quite. And or just making anything in general. Like it's what it feels like to me is like they just almost nailed it. And I really want that Surge too. I don't know if I'd run out and buy it as soon as it comes out, like I did with this one, but I definitely check reviews and see if people are saying it's improved or not. Because I think they really almost nailed it with this. So I got to give them a B minus, mostly because it's an enjoyable game in my opinion, and it also strays away from just copying Dark Souls. They tested themselves and pushed to make a unique experience, and I think they did it, regardless of if they 100% nailed it or not. So I have to give them B minus for the effort. So, all right, anything else?
No.
Let us know in the comments. Did you play the Surge? Did you not play the Surge? Why didn't you play it? If you played it, did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What would you grade it? Let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to the Surge. The other game we played this month was Conan Exiles, which I've never seen before. Which is a third-person, first-person survival game, following very much like games like Rust, Ark, Minecraft, a lot of those type of games in the Conan universe. So a lot of deserts and barbarians and jungles and stuff like that. In it, you are a random exile that you're starting your life in these fucking crazy lands full of barbarians, and you gotta survive. So you do a lot of building, a lot of killing, a lot of leveling. There's a lot of shit to unlock in this game and a lot of things to build in this game, in a pretty big and open world that gets harder and harder the further you progress north. So we all played this month. Who did we start with last time? Josh, we'll start with Chevy this time.
Okay. So I have dabbled a little bit in the genre, but I mostly played like Minecraft and Ark would be the biggest two for me. And this is definitely more like Ark, I would say.
Oh yeah.
And I want to start with saying that Conan as a property is not something I'm interested in like at all. And so I had super low expectations going to this, and I'm actually happy to say that they were completely shattered.
Yeah.
The game is way more than I expected it to be. There is a lot that you can do in that game, depending on your playstyle even. Seth will probably have a lot of stories because I played with him every time I played. So I'm going to kind of avoid that and just kind of stick to like the more systematic stuff that I enjoyed about it. We played this obviously on PS4, and I know it was, I believe, a PC game first, and it translates really well to controller.
Oh yeah.
The game plays...
I'm actually impressed that it runs the way it does, looks
Yeah.
the way it does, and the server fucking options and all sorts of shit. It's really impressive.
It does. It feels like a PC game on console. That didn't get messed up in the process. There's a couple things I wish they could have done a little bit better. One of the problems is that whoever's hosting, they're the center of your world, and anyone playing with them can't stray too far from them. And that is limitations of hardware, obviously.
Although you can rent servers that will allow you to
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, because Cody says he knows somebody who actually rents a server for like $10 a month, and there's people on the server who are able to do whatever. So the PS4 itself cannot run a server
Right.
that's I mean that it can even host at all, and they have to be close together, but you can still do it. Is amazing that a console's doing that.
For sure. That was something I was going to bring up. I guarantee on the PC version you can just run a dedicated server on your PC and people can just join and go where the hell they want. Is it enough to like really knock the game? I actually don't think so at all, because I think you're getting a completely different experience anyways when you play on a controller and on the PS4 in general, just because it feels like you're playing more of like a co-op game, especially the way like me and you played versus when you play a lot of these games on PC, it is very much like you in the world, versus the world type thing. I think because of the restraint of being stuck together, it forces you to play in a more co-op sense.
And the game feels more actiony than it does than Ark does. Apparently when this game first came out, it played way more like Ark. It was just first person, you swung your weapons and threw shit, and even third person you still attack that way. But now it has more of like a Dark Souls lock-on system where you can roll around and block and swing, and it feels really good. It's just a third person action game that you happen to be making where the fuck you want in and playing with people.
Well, and you had cracked a joke when we were playing, calling it
Skyrim Online.
essentially Skyrim Online. Yeah.
But Skyrim 1 to be only online.
It does kind of fit into that like description, and it's gonna sound really weird, but it is literally just like a fantasy action game that you can play multiplayer.
Well, you run around the map and you discover areas. It gives you experience. Now it's on your map, and you feel like you're unveiling a story in this world. And there's all these like different ghosts all over the map that will give you things, and it unveils more of a story in the world. So like you're not only just playing an online game for the fuck of it, but there's actually like lore there and a story, and your character starts at a certain place, and like Conan exists in that world. You can go talk to him, and fucking there's all these ghosts from the past and shit that are telling these stories of lore. If you're super into Conan, I like you don't know shit about it except for he punches camels, but fucking outside of that, a bunch of buff people, that's all I know. So exploring this world, I'm like, well, there's actually some kind of cool dark fantasy in this world that's really interesting.
There is. I also really appreciate once again, I'm gonna kind of try to stick to systems. I appreciate, just like in Ark, that everything you do progresses your character. Every single action you make gives you experience points, and you progress, and then you get to place points where you want them and learn specific recipes and stuff like that.
I fucking love, because in these kind of games, I love building. That's what I do. I'm like 98% of the time building shit. I'm fucking deforesting the earth, and I'm fucking building an empire. And I'm leveling from that. And that's awesome. That's one thing I loved about Ark. Ark was way more generous with this fucking building experience, because I was leveling faster than everybody else, because I was literally just lawn mowing the forest and building. And this, it's a lot less experience unless you go into the server and start changing shit up, but I didn't do that. But fucking so it takes a lot longer, but still you're never wasting time in the game unless you're literally standing there. But I mean, you're just gonna die from starvation or a sandstorm
if you're wasting resources then.
Yeah.
And then it has a take that so Ark, you can raise pets. In Conan, you can do the same, except for the system's completely different, and
they're better.
I actually like it better. You spend the resources to raise them, and at that point, you can just let them develop while you go do your thing. At least in old Ark, I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah.
You had to babysit while you were taming it. So
fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and you're essentially doing the same thing without having to be present. You just have to make sure it has the resources to... It's essentially an incubator. You have an incubator with like 5 slots. You put the fucking babies in there, and then you put the food that they eat. You got to find the fucking food, and then put it in there, and then let them gestate, essentially.
Yeah.
You'll have a little timer, and it builds up. And once they're done, you can pull them out, place them, name them, and they all have their own individual stats, perks, things they're good at, things they're bad at.
And they don't have to eat that often, so you don't have to babysit them too
No,
much.
it's very fair in that sense. I mean, when they start out, they got 6 real days on them, and that's gameplay time, not while you're gone. Unless you had a server running constantly, I'm sure it would be different. But
sure.
But 6 days is super fucking generous. I mean, I put a bunch of grass on one of my fucking birds that I was running around with. Oh, no, my deer, because I had a huge fucking inventory, which I build a lot, so I like to fucking load it up with shit as I'm destroying the earth. And fucking I put a bunch of grass in there to keep it fed. It was like you got like 42 days until this deer dies. I'm like, okay,
This deer's never going anywhere.
I don't have to worry about it.
And
Yeah.
grass isn't rare, obviously.
No,
so
it's everywhere.
It's spending all night fighting a fucking elite hyena.
no.
Yeah,
one
no,
night.
that was scary. And of course, as you find more rare animals to tame, they're gonna have more specific things that they need to eat. I got a bear recently, and you can give it like meat or whatever, but like I have a beehive, and I just load it up with honey. There's a lot of options too. It's not just one thing they eat, which is really neat. But it does get more particular the better the animal is.
Right.
Yeah, and depending on what you feed them, you can actually get elite versions.
When you're incubating them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
very,
Give 'em-
very. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like the hyenas will eat like fish because they're carnivores. But if you give them straight up like red meat, then there's a better chance they'll be an elite hyena.
Yeah, there's percentages based off what you're feeding it. Because even if feeding its base minimal thing, there's still a chance you can get that, but it's higher with certain things.
And different colors and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of factors.
Which actually, the elite thing brings me to the other thing I like about the game is that there is a chance for monsters out in the wild to be elite versions of monsters, and it increases the difficulty. And then they also have, random extra items on them. And then there's also legendary monsters out there, which are kind of like there's a set amount of them, but they have very specific. I think it's skeleton keys you get off of them, which allow you to open up specific chests in the world. So there's just a lot of really neat systems, and you can literally just spend literal days playing this game, and not make it's gonna sound weird, not make a ton of progress, but still be making constant progress. The game has a pace that it's going to keep you busy. There's always something to work towards, and in a good way, to the point where I hate using this term for games, but it is addictive. Like,
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
100%.
other than that, I primarily did hunting and gathering type stuff in our co-op session, and I also took other barbarians and asked them to work for us, not so
For
nicely.
free. Forever.
Ask them to work for free.
Yeah, which is neat that that system's even in the game.
There, yeah, there's
Told them to work for free.
there's so many fucking systems that this conversation going forever. So like I'm really trying to like jump in, say what it is.
Well, go ahead, because
And
I was pretty
move
much
on.
just sharing the parts about it, essentially, that I like systematically, which is
Yeah.
most of it. I like I said, the one thing I have complained about, and I'm not knocking the game, it is a hardware-related thing, is the distance from the host. So
Yeah, which is just a limitation. The game's completely playable otherwise, but if you want to play and be on the other side of the map while they're on this side of the map, you're gonna have to pay for a dedicated server.
occasional loading issues, which if you reboot the game, it fixes. So,
When you're not the
host,
host,
yeah.
because I didn't have issues at all.
Yeah.
I'm on a PS4 Pro. He's on PS4, so I don't know the details of it, but you did run into multiple times the game not loading correctly anymore.
It just stops
sometimes you
loading
run
crap.
into non-barriers. You just run into shit and you stop able to move for a second.
well, it'd be a rock or a tree, but
Yeah.
it wasn't loaded
Oh, yeah,
visually.
yeah.
So
Because
I
was
didn't
watching
know
you,
I
and
was
you're like running
walking
up the hill and just
Yeah.
like fucking stopping and shit. But yeah,
That story you told me, because there's those creatures that come out of the ground in the desert, and Chevy was like, "Oh, there's one over there. There's one over there. There's one over there," and you're like, "How the fuck you seeing all these?"
yeah. The first time we ever ventured north to find iron,
Oh, those stone guys.
right? Because we're way far. Like I watched a video of this recently. And I was like, God damn, I didn't know what the hell's doing. But like we went up north to find iron, and the first time we went up there, Chevy started having some of his issues, but we didn't realize they were the issues yet.
Right.
And fucking we'd ran into, as anyone who's played the game knows at this point, the guys in the ground who look like rocks, and they'll pop out and scare the fuck out of you if you're brand new to the game, because that made me jump a couple times. And after the first encounter, I was like, holy shit, okay, there's like things in the ground around here. That's pretty crazy.
Right.
And Sherry's like, oh, there's one over there. I'm like, where? I'm like looking, there's trees and bushes everywhere and shit, and there's rocks everywhere. He's like, oh, there's another one over there and there's one over here. I'm like, all right, Eagle Eye, how the fuck are you seeing this?
I
Because
had no
I don't.
flora.
And I'm like looking, I'm like, where are they? What are you talking? Like, I believe you, but I don't fucking see them. Am I just this bad at fucking spotting this shit? And then you had said that you weren't seeing the stuff because I told you I couldn't see through the trees and stuff. You're like, oh, I don't even see trees at
Must
all.
have what trees?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's why you're fucking seeing them because there's nothing in front of you. So you had to reload the game and come back, and then the trees were there.
I was like, oh wow, this place is a lot more interesting looking than it really was.
Yeah, that place probably was like a fucking desert when you
It
went up
was.
there. But yeah, that was interesting. So that is an issue with the game. There are a couple issues with the game, but none of them took away from my experience at all. Just when that shit came up, where it's like, okay, reload, let's get back in, and keep going. So, the game is addictive enough that you're just like, we got to fix this now because I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna jump into my impressions.
Yeah, go for it.
I fucking love this game. I've been wanting to pick it up for a while because I really liked Ark. I think Ark is a super ambitious game, and whatever your opinions of the developers now with their new game and how they're handling DLC and shit, completely understandable. But I really dug Ark a lot. But it's weird because I was like, Ark's like the best you can get with this genre right now. Like just the amount of shit you can do in that game, all the fucking items and the imaginations there and stuff. And I always wanted to pick up Conan, but I never pulled the trigger because the biggest thing, I'm not a big, like, I don't care about Conan.
Exactly.
This is what everybody I talk to says. They all have the same opinion. In fact, the people like Conan, where are you? Like, let me know because I don't know anybody who really digs Conan. If you do, I'm not saying anything good or bad about that. I don't know anybody who's into it. So it's interesting that Funcom's, like, they have this property, they're fucking using it. They got an RTS coming out soon that's Conan. They got fucking that MMO that came out that was Conan. Like, they're really using that property. So hopefully it works out for them. But yeah, so I was like, okay, Ark's cool. Conan, don't really care about buff barbarians, but whatever. So finally getting to jump into this, on PS4, I probably would have picked up for PC otherwise. Instantly, I was like, this is better than Ark in my opinion. Ark might have more stuff in it now. I don't know. I haven't played in a while, but the sheer amount of things to unlock in Conan is insane, staggering. It's really a lot. I'm constantly just like, holy shit, there's so much stuff to do in this game. The building, I think, is better. I think it's fantastic. I'm not trying to just compare it to that, but it's like the only other game of its caliber, in my opinion. The progression is really cool. The amount of trees that are in the game that you get perks from are really cool. The combat I enjoy a lot. It feels better than most of these games because typically in these games, like I said before, it's at first person, third person, but you're just swinging a weapon and walking backwards and forwards. In this, it's more of a lock-on system where you're like walking around and jumping back and swinging stuff like that, and it feels more like an action game. It doesn't even feel like a sandbox survival game in combat. In combat, it feels like playing a third-person action game, which is really fucking cool. It feels really tight, really good. You can climb everything in the game, which I fucking love, especially in a game that's about traversal, exploration, adventure. It's so good. Even in the idea if you're playing on a PvP server or whatever, you want to siege a fucking a fortress or whatever, you can climb the fucking walls, and there's all sorts
Hide
of
on the ceiling.
all sorts of siege weaponry that you can launch fucking stuff, and you can have boiling pots of tar and stuff you can dump on people. I mean, like there's a lot of thought into the idea of like tribal warfare. Which I think is really cool. We kind of didn't do that. We played on a peaceful server where it's just me and Chevy, and it was just me and you on there.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
doing the co-op thing. But there's a lot of tools there to do really interesting things. You can just destroy people's places and they have to repair and vice versa and all sorts of shit. The NPCs are really interesting. There's a lot of varied things to kill. There's a lot of varied pets to have in the game. The building is really good, and like I said before, I really love building in these games. So there's a lot of tools there to do really cool stuff. There's elevators in the game, which I think is really fucking cool. There's horizontal elevators, Willy Wonka elevators, fucking. There's a lot of weapons in the game, and they're all different with different moves, and even shields have different moves, which is really cool, and different properties to them. The clothing gets really interesting. At first, you're just like the quintessential Conan barbarian that you assume. You're just buff, greasy, and you got a fucking little loincloth on. And then later, you're looking like more like fucking some kind of like Middle Eastern assassin or whatever, which is really fucking cool looking, and like all sorts of shit that looks pretty
Like
neat.
a shaman.
Or a shaman.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things, and then we didn't even dabble in it, but there's DLCs that bring Japanese looking stuff into the game, samurai armor, stuff like that. There's Chinese stuff. There's like druidic looking stuff. There's a lot of really cool shit they've added to this, and already looking at the staggering amount of shit that comes with the base game, I was like, there's a lot of game here to play. It's really crazy. The world is really cool, really interesting. The biomes are really interesting. It's a set map, but it's super diverse in the way it's set up. A lot of really cool areas to explore. Like I said, like in Skyrim, there's like locations to discover with lore and NPCs there that you can raid, with chests you can find random stuff in. So there's always a reason to go invade that if you want to go the combat route. Towns with NPCs that won't attack you, people you can randomly find that will give you a shitload of emotes. There's a lot of emotes in the game you can find, which I think is really cool, and they all look great. A lot of really great systems, and I feel bad saying great systems when there's like slavery in the game, but it's a neat prospect as a gameplay mechanic, being very clear about that. Because it's weird that you can like tie someone up and drag them, but in Conan's world it makes sense. That's what happens there. You put them on the wheel of pain. Yeah, well, you're the fucking person getting the slaves. I was just building, but yeah, and then then you can put the thralls on different locations of where you normally build stuff, and they'll add perks to it and make it cheaper for you to build stuff or make you build stuff faster.
Unlock recipes.
So there's all sorts of progression outside of just, leveling up. There's ways to just make your place better and better and better. A lot of the, later building materials demand higher fucking quality materials to make that get harder to get. So there's this real big drive to keep moving forward and get bigger and better things. The lighting in the game is really good, and it's kind of a weird thing to throw out there, but I was impressed by that. I like games that get like pitch black at night, and sometimes it's like pitch black. Some nights are like clear, really nice looking. It makes you really appreciate when you got fucking fire and torches and stuff, because everything's lit up at night. I really appreciate that. I already talked about the combat. I actually like the music in the game. I think it's really good. It's better than I really think that game should have, although I love the game, so I guess it's an added bonus. I think the intro music's really good. I think the ambient music that plays while you're exploring is really fucking good. It has a really good adventure vibe to it, which I really dig. The weather effects are awesome. You got rain up in the north. You got snowstorms up in the north. You die from cold, which is awesome. You die from the heat, which is awesome. There's a lot of elements you have to think about, and there's really not a specific place that I think is the safest, even though sandstorms are pretty fucking devastating. You're not going to run into those in certain areas. Sandstorms are really fucking neat in that game, even though they're scary at first, because they're a physical thing. You can see them forming out in the distance from different directions. The sky will get reddish, and then you see it coming. And it's not even just a visual thing going, oh, the storm's going to start soon. It literally, when it comes and hits, the storm hits. Like it's a physical entity coming at you, which is really neat. Even when you're in buildings, the sand and the wind will fly through the windows and hurt you. Yeah. So they did a lot of really cool work on that aspect, something that I really don't think anybody really would have put that much work into, and they did a great job with it. I think this is on Unreal as well.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is, and they did a really good job with that, because when I was playing, I was like, this game looks fucking great. Fuck, I don't even know what else to say. The gathering is good. I just recently got a perk that takes 50% less time than it did before to harvest anything. So if I'm hitting a tree and I was taking me 6 hits to complete it, it's 3 now. So I'm deforesting like a motherfucker now. I also got like, I think 20% less stamina used when I climb, which is awesome because I'm Spider-Man now. And yeah, I've had a lot of awesome adventures in this game that I think are all fucking really neat, really intense. You witnessed the one where fucking I had to go save Bucky. I lost some good pets. I felt bad about that. Gascon, rest in peace. The turtle that just would not fucking leave the fight when I did.
Yeah, you did not know how to teleport at all.
Yeah, he was just fucking, I'm staying. I'm like, get the fuck over here. I can teleport.
He was fucking rumbling with 3 people, though. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was a tank. So, I mean, they had to hit him for a long time. And yeah, it just has really cool locations with the varied levels of enemies. You get a sense of like a single player adventure game. That zone you don't go into right now. This zone you're safe in. You can try and go there. It's going to be dangerous, but you might want to wait till you level up. It has that kind of single player vibe to it that I really dig. I mean, literally, it feels almost like a single player action game that you can play co-op and you can build whatever the fuck you want.
It has an ending too. And
it has an ending. Yeah. It has like dungeons and bosses and stuff. I mean, like, It's a really fucking good game.
It is.
I really liked it. I even watched some reviews on it. And people like it, but some people don't like it, and I'm like, why? Why don't you like this? I just don't get it. Especially people who are like, oh, I liked Ark, but I didn't like that game. I'm like, pretty much all the same game, except for I just prefer the stuff in Conan. And yeah, my biggest thing is like looking at the game. If you're not into Conan, I'm not trying to get into recommendations already, but if you're not into Conan and you don't like the fucking big buff barbarian thing, play the game a little bit into it. That goes away. That's like early on, like everyone who doesn't have anything in the game looks like that. But eventually you start looking really cool. Maybe you are into the super barbarian shit. Fucking, you're gonna be at fucking in heaven in this game. But yeah, I expected to like this game. I didn't expect to love it. I fucking love this game. I want to play it right now, talking about it. And this is a game I will absolutely be playing way after this fucking month. I'm almost upset I didn't pick this game up before this. So I could talk about this forever in every single detail. So I'll just move it on to Josh.
First things first, I enjoy these games. My biggest problem with them is like when you first start out, you're like, all right, I got nothing. And it doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't really give you anything there. It might be like, if you punch a tree, you'll get some wood. And that's like, oh, okay.
I like it even says that.
And then what do I do with that? Then what do I do with that? And you kind of end up in this weird limbo right in the beginning of, well, fuck, where do I start? And Conan kind of ironed that all out, like
with its chapters.
Yeah, it has these chapters that give you boosts of experience once you start to
huge chunks of experience.
Yeah, it's a really good way to level up really fucking quick.
Right when the game starts, it's like climb something. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, I can climb. You climb, and it's like you did it, and it's like one of the pieces of chapter 1 done.
Yeah,
you're like, oh fuck.
Like, gather a stick, gather rocks, and you're like, oh okay, so that's how I do that. It's almost like subtly telling you the game systems by making you experiment and do them yourself. So in games, problems I have with Ark and Rust and stuff like that is it always seems like I'm just waiting for the inevitable. I'm gonna run into something that kills me, and then now I'm just like, well, fuck this. I don't want to go all the way back there, get all my shit. I just feel down, disheartened. And in this game, it was completely opposite. Like whenever I got killed, I was like, well, fuck, I deserve that. Because it wasn't some cheap, you're just poking at something until it fucking dies. It's, I'm fighting this person, and just because I didn't dodge right, it was more, it was my mistake, not like the shitty combat system that's in those games. And I really enjoyed. I literally had like a 4x4 hut, and I just went out and I killed things. That was my fun. Like it was just.
That's the beauty of these kind of games, though, is really everybody's got their own way they want to play them, and they allow that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seems like because like there's no. In like Rust, you'd have to find other people, and then
Rust is a bad example because that game. The guy, while making it, said he didn't know what he's making.
Yeah, and then even in Ark, you go to find shit to kill, and like it could kill you first, and there wasn't like a whole lot of weapons until you hit the gun stage and shit like that. And
well, and that's actually one thing me and Chevy talked about too that I think I like more about Conan is it's more precise in its world and its capabilities. So I know they want to maybe add alchemy or magic later in this game. Right.
I don't.
You said something about that.
I'm trying to remember if that was a plan and they tossed it, or if it's still a plan.
Yeah.
Oh, mounts was the one they tossed.
Yeah.
They wanted to, but I do think they want to add magic at some point.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like in this, you're progressing with better swords, better spears, better shields and stuff like that. And in Ark, you start out like a caveman and you move into fucking machine guns pretty quick. And it's exciting because you finally starting to feel fucking powerful. Like, holy shit, I got guns or whatever. But it starts feeling more like a playground and less about like actual progression. I don't know. So like, yeah, when you finally start moving into guns in Ark, it gets exciting. But once you get all the guns and stuff, it's just like, okay, what do we do now? Whereas in this, there's like, you're still just fighting with swords and shields and stuff. There's higher quality and better. So
Yeah, and then when Shego was talking about how you can play this game for a long time and feel like you pretty much didn't get anywhere, I felt that with Ark all the time. I was just like, I played this game for like an hour and I got like a fucking house set up, and that's about it because like I have to go get resources and feed myself, and you have to feed yourself and clothe yourself and stuff like that in Conan also, but it's not. It's pretty easy to get those resources, whether you're eating just berries off the vine or fucking.
Well, I mean, you can do that in Ark too. It's almost the exact same. Because I remember in Ark, I was fucking just eating berries constantly
Yeah, I always felt like it was just like.
early on in the game.
Yeah, in Ark, I always just felt like it was just more of a pain in the ass than in Conan.
Well, that's kind of the great thing about Conan being a newer game, is it could take all the things that Ark did and refine them. I think they really did that with the pet system.
You know, and whenever I die in fucking Conan again, like I'm like, all right, you know, and I'm back in my house, and I can get myself set back up again pretty easily. I never felt like I was just back to square one. You know, every time I died, I was able to just go get my shit, and then, you know, I was back. Um, so it's the little systems like that I enjoyed. I think harvesting shit is done a lot better in Conan. Um, it's not You're not waiting fucking 12 in-game days for forests to grow back. You know, like the resources are there.
24 hours.
Yeah, I mean the resources are there. You just need to collect them. Combat again was probably the biggest thing for me because it wasn't just a point and click bullshit. You know, it's adds a cool little because you can do build or sit there and just fight everything you fucking come across
Or explore and get level or fucking experience for exploring.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever you really want to do, and the game doesn't punish you at all for playing like that. You know, my camp sucked balls, but I was barely in it. I mean, I did it to craft a few things, but I had like that little hut with a fireplace in it, and then outside I just had the rest of my crap littered all over the place. So I was like, I don't really care about this because I'm never in it. I'm fucking
Goddamn trailer trash.
Exactly. I'm out killing things. And I haul back my stuff, and I'm like, all right, it's going to go in here, and I just leave again. And I could have gotten as far as I wanted to in the game by doing that dumb shit. You know, and then leave another fucking trailer park somewhere north and start the whole thing all over again.
The pikeys from fucking Snatch.
You know, the whole like being able to play the game like primarily as combat and not going craft heavy. The game is really good about letting you do that anyways too, because you can come across encampments. You can fight all the people in there. There's random chances they're gonna drop gear and new weapons and stuff like that. So you can do it that way. The game does allow it. They'll have treasure chests you can raid and stuff like that. And then it respawns 24 hours later. You can go back and raid it again if you want and see if your drop chances have gotten better. So,
yeah, and you know, if I haven't mined one vein of iron ore. All my iron is me raiding camps.
Yeah, which is the game really embraces. You want to play this like other games, you can do that. But if you want to do the whole like, I fucking raid and pillage other tribes, you can do that as well. I mean, there's friendly NPCs you can go kill and take their shit. So I mean, if you want to go the route of like, I fucking take what I want, kill what I want, enslave everybody, you can do that. I mean, like, there's a lot of freedom in the way you want to play it. If you want resources, but you don't want to go fucking find them, you can go take them. Like, I mean, that's one thing that's really cool about the game is it really allows you to play the way you want to play. There's no morality system, but it's a game that easily could have had one because there's a lot of options in the way you want to go about progressing in the game.
for sure.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to add on to what you guys said, but no, it's a game I'll play for a while, and definitely will still be installed on my PS4 for months to come, probably. Just because
you should definitely play it co-op.
I got to jump into something with people.
Yeah. Just because the game I play by myself, I don't give a fuck. It's funny. Most games, man, I love shooting shit and killing shit and the action stuff like that. But these kind of games, I always start just trying to build as big and awesome as I can. Even go back to Minecraft. I build like fucking cities by myself. A lot of times, show just be grabbing resources because he can sit there and just do that. And I'll do that too if I have to. But a lot of times, if he's willing to do that kind of stuff, I start building something really big and epic. And I did the same thing in Ark. I started fucking building. The first thing I do is like building a defendable compound that I know that we're gonna be safe here. Nothing's gonna be able to get us here. It's the first thing I did in fucking this. And so I like just that's my thing. Is I like building strategic, almost as if you could have lore type places. Like I try to make towns and cities and shit. And so I actually am not fighting as often as I would in any other type of game. But in that same sense, it sounds like you and even Chevy. Chevy does a lot of pet stuff and hunter gathering stuff, like you were kind of saying before. But like if you're out there killing and stuff,
I did a lot more combat playing Conan than I usually do, though.
yeah, it was weird. Because a lot of times you're just kind of doing what I'm doing, except for you're not doing the building aspects. You're just helping gathering stuff. But you were off fucking killing shit all day and fucking getting meat and enslaving everybody and I was just walking through town finding new slaves. I'm like, I don't know you. You're new.
It's like when I walked by, I was like, "Ooh, that's a level 2 dancer," and I ran up and I started clubbing her in the head.
It's so dark to think about it, but it's interesting too that different people have different levels that can offer you more if you bring them to your camp. I mean, fucking Big Boss did the same shit with the Fulton, so just didn't drag him home. He had a fucking balloon for that. But yeah, you are out there wanting to kill stuff, so I think you'd benefit more from having a place that's already kind of built for you. Maybe do your own building a little bit or decorating or whatever, but I think you'd benefit more just having a encampment already that you can come back to and know that all your shit's gonna be there and you can just go do your thing and help the tribe kind of thing, which always kind of seems to be the case in these kind of games. Just allowing people to have the different play styles that benefits more, because I couldn't imagine playing this game in an action sense without having any kind of inkling to want to build crazier shit, because it almost deflate the game a bit for me in a sense, just because I wouldn't be utilizing every factor, but I'm also not doing as much combat as you guys, so which when I do it I fucking really enjoy it. So but then in my head I'm like, I have to go back and start building. I got a bunch of shit I'm trying to do. I built that elevator and now I'm trying to build a fucking house up on that plateau or the fuck it's called.
Clusterfuck.
Yeah,
Building that fucking.
But that's the thing, man. I love the struggle of trying to build something crazy and finally doing it. Even if it takes forever and a bunch of resources and it's fucking ridiculous. Once you get it, down finally, you're like, I built that.
Well, it's like you choose your religion in the beginning of the game. Yeah. And I chose the Frost Giant or the Frost God or whatever.
Yeah, I did too.
And like you get their altar, and at first I was like, all right, it's some little tiny thing. It takes like 800 or 500 rock, and
it's huge.
Yeah, and I like put it down, and I was like, this is big as my fucking house. I just put it in the back of my house.
The animal husbandry place is also just
gigantic. It's so big, like you can't see where you're placing it.
Yeah,
I suggest standing up on top of something and looking down because you get a better sense of where it's at.
But I do think it's neat. You can craft. What I was getting at is I do think it's really neat. You can craft specific items for your religion there,
which makes sense that people should probably have different gods if they're going to play together. So you have those different altars, but also the more you craft in that area, I believe you get some kind of like token or something like that from that altar, and you can exchange those for better things than that.
Oh, really?
Upgrade it. I think.
You can also sacrifice people to the altars.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. There's a whole system which we didn't really play around with too much. That eventually you can become the deity temporarily, and you're like
a giant.
You're Godzilla.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. There's crazy shit in that game. There's a lot of fucking game there. Like it's.
Yeah, like I only found like one NPC, like friendly one that would talk with me. The guy underneath the Guardians, in the Guardians. That's where I built my area. It was right there. I was like,
oh really?
I was thinking of building the same place that you did. I was like, well, this is he built. And I was like, I don't want to fucking build here. And
it's familiar, bad. Dude.
Well, not that it was bad. I was just like, I'm gonna have a different experience. And then I went more east and.
If I was playing on a different server, I'd start a different place too.
Yeah, I built right underneath the Guardians. Now, I didn't realize until after I got fucked up by an elite turtle that I fucking parked my shit right next to him. there was no pulling stakes with my stuff. So one thing I really liked, and this is kind of off topic, I was watching you raid that one camp that one time where Gascon died, and one of those dudes with the backpacks that are become like little
The refrigerator on his back.
weird like loot chests.
Yeah.
You pulled that tent out, and it was specific to that tribe, or the Black Hand, or the pirate tribe, or whatever it was, and like it was big. Like it wasn't like a little trinket you got from it. It was like a piece of their architecture, and like it's stuff like that I find that makes that game really worth like searching for, because you almost get like almost like a living trophy case.
You can literally make trophies of all the animals you've killed, which I think at first I'm like, but then later you're like, we killed that. Now it's on the wall as proof. You have to kill it to get that fucking trophy.
The normal one, and then there's the elite heads as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like the weird like Bucky fighting that fucking hyena until morning. And you go over there and he's still like trying to do it, and the hyena's still doing a thing, and that was horrifying.
I just lost my turtle. I wasn't gonna lose my deer.
Yeah. You had to run all the way back.
Naked, dude. I had to get my shit off my fucking body. I just bolted in the fuck at dawn, just back. I'm like, oh shit, dude, my deer's gonna die. I'm gonna lose all my shit.
I had to move my tombstone, or I had to move my house, the door to my house, because I was trying to run back in my house from the fucking from Psycho Turtle, and it killed me right outside my door. And I went to go leave my door, and the door opened, but I couldn't leave because my tombstone was in the fucking way. So I was like, this is fucked. So I had to rip out a whole wall and then replace it.
Damn.
Because I think you can mine them out. Your gravestones.
You can mine them?
Can you
I
get
know
rid
you
of
can
them?
harvest your body.
Well, yeah, no,
I'm sure you can
I've
destroy
eaten my
it.
fucking body quite a bit, but
I've never eaten my body.
yeah,
I mean, you might have.
yeah, I was
No,
like,
not
oh,
me.
meat, sweet. And
Not me. I mean, it's possible. I don't think so.
Every time there was a corpse, you're like, hey, harvest that. I was like, all right.
I'm not above eating that fucking meat. I'm not above eating bugs.
Yeah, no shit.
Although where we're at now in the game, we kill something and it drops like 40 fucking meat. I have too much meat. Now my guy eats raw meat. So I don't even have to cook the shit.
Yeah, I need to get that fucking because that's a perk, right?
There's so many good perks and there's a limited amount of levels, so you have to make a build, which I really dig. I like limitation because I hate when everybody has the same shit. Because in a game like this, and you're in a tribe with people and stuff, it's cool that everybody has their specialties. And most of my stuff has to do with building, resource gathering, and traversal. It's not. I almost have nothing in the combat tree.
Yeah, so mine's mostly strength. What's it where you hold more?
Encumbrance.
Yeah, encumbrance, and then there's it's not dexterity, it's the other one, that cunning. There's another one that deals specifically with stamina.
Yeah.
So and that one, because I like to fight. So being able to carry all their shit back
Makes me
being
aerodynamic when I fight.
being strong enough to swing my fucking two-handed hammer into people. By the way, when you knock somebody off their feet, it is
Satisfying?
Ooh, that's satisfying. Because there's like an uppercut with the hammer and they just fly away. I'm like, yes.
You had a combo where at the fourth hit, I'd hit them with my shield and knock them on their ass. And like, I just spam that over and over again to keep knocking them down and shit.
Seth kind of had to deal with the two-handed hammer a lot because that was my first weapon.
We were watching footage from it, and then you guys were fighting one of the stone things. And you're like, this thing has a lot of health, and you're braining him and Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just swinging into him.
Yeah, eventually we got combat down because we kept fucking hitting each other. And it was really frustrating for me because his move would fucking knock me on my ass all the time.
And it breaks armor.
Yeah. I'd be like sundered and shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But surprisingly enough, I like the knives too. They were very.
I think all the
They're
weapons are
fucking
good.
deadly. That dancer, when I tried to take it the first time, she murdered the shit
The
out of me.
bleed fucking
bleed-
sucks.
the
Especially
bleed
when
killed
it's
me.
like on
Yeah.
like times 3 or 4. You're also just like, I was like, I guess I'm fucking gonna die.
When you were sitting there, when you were raiding, you killed everybody, but then you're like, oh, nice, and fucking the bleed just killed.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, I was done with the
knocked
fight,
dancer
and then I was
out.
just watching my health, and I'm like,
That's
All
exactly
right, bye.
what happened to me. I knocked that dancer out, and I was looking at her, and I was looking at my health. I was like, "You win."
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. I came back though and killed every fucking buddy again. Took all my shit back and took all their shit. So
Yeah, because it's
Dog Eat Dog World.
Yeah, that's no shit.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about something and then it's gone.
Should
No
we do
one lives forever.
No one lives
recommendations?
forever. So fuck it.
So fuck it. Yeah, we should probably get in recommendations because it's a game I could probably sit here and just keep talking about. Because I played this whole fucking month. I've played this probably 90% of my gameplay this month. A lot, and it's one of those games that I went from like not knowing anything about to being pretty well versed on it. It's a game that I've
About
been
half my month.
Yeah, you played it quite a bit earlier in the month into about the middle. It is my server, so it's easier for me to just turn it on and start fucking playing.
You have to wait.
I'd have to like let you know if you know we're gonna play together. But yeah, I played it a considerable amount, a lot. So, yeah, let's jump into recommendations. I'll let somebody else start since I did it last time.
I mean, I'll just cover the easy ones. If you're into survival games in the vein of Ark, Minecraft, like you brought up Rust before, any game,
Daisy,
any
No
any
zombies,
type of
but-
survival game, you're gonna get an element of that in here. It is not as heavy in the resource aspect of that. Very long. Like you'll get food down really fast in the game. So if you're into
It never feels like it's dire when it comes to food.
only right when you start,
But if you run through bushes just mashing fucking square,
Crab.
you've got like fucking
You're
a
spending-
pocket full of 60 fucking bugs just at your fucking disposal.
Except
and I eat the fuck
5
out
minutes
of them.
later, you got to go get 60 more
Find a
bugs.
queen
So,
bee. It's a big nugget, and I just eat that fucker. And I'm just feeling great for about 5 minutes. Let's go get another one after that.
till you can get a smoker, and then you just
And game over. It's over.
you're done needing food after that.
Unless you want to get gourmet, which I have, and make really fucking dope ass meals. But I'd rather just go back to eating the bugs or.
They heal you better, right?
Yeah, and I think they give you some kind of benefits too. I don't remember specifically, but I know like depending on what you eat, you get a slight amount of regeneration on your health, but also the satiation factor of the food, how much it fills your hunger meter. And when I made you have to have like 5 different fish to make this like fucking fish meal, and I cooked it on the stove, and when I ate it, my health went like fucking like that, and I wasn't hungry at all. It was just one meal, and I was like, fuck, if you had one person just cooking up a fucking storm, it's a way better route to go than just eating normal food.
Yeah.
But then with the healing thing too, you can make potions with aloe vera and chug that, and that's a way better way of healing. So there's a lot of routes, but there's not like the route to go when it comes to
a
that
lot
kind
of
of stuff.
time, I would just chug a bunch of fish real quick to get my health up.
I've been in fucking combat. I mean, you'd be in the middle of a fight, and I'm taking damage every once in a while. I'm fucking eating down some beef jerky in the middle of the fight and getting a little bit of health back. And when I'm done eating, I eat another piece, and it's slowly refilling as I'm dodging and shit. I mean, like I just got down and fucking just eating my Slim Jim while fucking swinging my sword.
Well, and the combat's gonna bring me to the next recommendation I want to bring up, which is
I forgot we're doing recommendations.
Yeah,
We're just talking about the game still.
if you're into action game, third person, first person action games, specifically in the realm of things like Elder Scrolls games, Bethesda titles, I should say, Witcher, etc. It really does have a decent combat system. Yeah. I honestly, my expectation for this kind of game is hit, block, and that's it. And this game is what kind of hit, what kind of block, dodging.
Combos.
Every weapon performs differently, even in the same genre or type or whatever. So
You get a higher end weapon, it might have different moves than the other type of same weapon.
And there's just a lot to offer in that regard. Other than that, I mean, it's an action game. I think that's really kind of the best. It's action. It has survival stuff and any creative experience, like going back to Minecraft or other games where you can build. Anything you guys want to add?
Just to reemphasize, within this genre, this is probably my favorite game. Top 2 easily. I really like this one more than most of them. Some games might do some things better, but this game across the board does everything really fucking well. So just to reemphasize, if you like survival games, if you like sandbox games, if you like third-person action games or first-person action games, you can play that like that. If you like building games where you make shit, if you like sim games where you have to manage resources, you might dig this game. If you like Conan as a property, it's a must-play. If If you like PvP centric games where you're attacking and sieging people, that's in this game. If you want to go down that route, if you like trolling people, even though you shouldn't, but if you are, most people like to troll people. This is fucking. There's servers out there you can hop on and do some weird shit with. Other people might do some shit back to you. Yeah, I mean this game I think a lot of people can play. It's not necessarily for everybody, but I think most people can play this game unless you just really don't like the idea of making your own fucking story, making your own gameplay, figuring out what to do. There's no direction. You're in this world, you figure it out, but there is more than just building in this game, and there's more than just running around mindlessly killing shit. There is things to find. There's things to explore. If you like exploration games, if you like games, if you like climbing stuff in games, it's not really a common thing in games, and they do a great job at this. I actually loved climbing things that like I'd be almost out of stamina, having to find a place to stop on this cliffside and get my stamina back and keep climbing, looking down and going, holy shit, this is really fucking high. If I fall, I die. There's a really cool sense of exploration in the game. Yeah, I feel like you should try this game unless you just really don't like these kind of games. Don't check it out. But if you're curious about it, play it, try it out. I waited a long time to play this game. I kind of regret it. And I will be buying those DLCs because I want to give them money. I really enjoy this game. And I should have bought it before. So I pretty much recommend it to everybody unless you just really do not like sandbox open world games like Ark and stuff like that. But know that it does play like a third person single player game and you can play it by yourself. And it plays great like that. So there is more to it than just the things you'd expect from Ark. So yeah, don't play it if you're not in these kind of games, but check it out anyway. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I was going to add exploration games, but you got that.
Yeah. Let's see. Who graded last time? First.
I did.
You did. So let's start with Josh.
I'm going to give this game solid B+. It's not... for a survival game, it's kind of everything I want. Being able to not have to sit there and build and manage resources all the damn time, and but being able to just go fight, raid. I'm not sitting there on the beach with a rock trying to break another rock. I'm literally out there taking rocks from other people.
For some reason, I thought about the beginning of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the fucking monkey with the bone just fucking breaking shit while the obelisk shows up. It's just you out on the beach, fucking. Wah, wah.
It's funny because he kind of fits an element that's not in our dynamic. So,
Yeah.
But so this game really tickled that itch because I do enjoy games like that where you just get to explore. This game gave you a reason to explore with chunks of experience every time you found something. You know, you can look over the horizon and be like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like it's a crazy statue or it's obviously a mound of bricks like a tomb or something. And you go there and then it'll give you some backstory on it. And then now it's marked on your map, you know. So you start to explore and fill out the map. You're just getting experience for it all. And the whole time I'm just pillaging and killing the shit out of everything I see. And it was a damn good time. Like I said, I barely built anything because all my points were, you know, in other places.
Mm-hmm.
But the game never felt lacking because I chose to do that. So I did run into a couple bugs, but they were just simple shit. Like there's sometimes I'd go climb on something, and as I got to the top, you wouldn't get up. And then I slid back through the rock.
Yeah, that's something. I watched a review of somebody talking about that, saying that happened to them all the time, where they're always falling off when they climbed. Mm-hmm. It's happened to me like 3 times, and it's annoying. But the amount of times I've climbed to that game, 3 times isn't too bad. So it doesn't bother me. And you start getting kind of used to the terrain too. If you see a certain type of slope area, it will never happen. Mm-hmm. It's some type of terrain. The engine just lets go. It's almost like when the wall does this a little bit and kind of curves slightly towards you, your guy's hands will let go for some reason. So you got to kind of gauge the wall. But I've experienced that too.
Yeah. So, and that only happened like a handful of times. I fell through the map once.
Sure did too. Twice.
So it's not perfect, but it did. It's my favorite game in the genre of survival. Sim and stuff like that. So it's solid B+. I really can't give it anything less than that.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Yeah, I'll go next. I'm gonna give it an A minus. I really love this game. I think it's really fun. It's for me. It's everything I want in these kind of games. I think they did a great job. I think they took a property I don't give a fuck about and they made me give a fuck about it. They made a great fun game with a lot of mechanics, a lot of things to unlock, a lot of things to do, a lot of ways to play. You're talking about how you spent not a whole lot of time building but killing stuff, and I did the exact opposite. I mean, I spent literally like real lifetime, just hours and hours and hours in one area building up. And every once in a while, I'd look over and be like, "Oh yeah, there's like a whole fucking world I haven't explored yet." And I'd go do that. And I'm like, "There's all sorts of cool shit to fucking find, all sorts of cool things to see. There's a whole bunch of parts of the map I haven't seen yet. There's fucking stuff to do that I haven't even remotely even seen or touched yet." And I've spent like multiple days of hours in this game already, just building. I have like 4 different compounds I've worked on in different sections for different things, different resources, and it's a game that is just so easy for me to play. A game I really enjoy playing. You know, the couple bugs that we've encountered, I didn't really encounter them, but on my server, Chevy did, which affects me because we have to wait for him to reload and stuff like that. Um, I should maybe dock him points for that. I don't care because once you get back in, it's just back to normal and you keep playing. The phone through the map thing, that shit happens in other games too. I mean, Rockstar games have fucking crazy problems, and that's as AAA as you can fucking get. So the more sandbox a game is, I think the more problems you can run into, and they do suck when it happens. Specifically in a game like this, where you can lose shit and not get it back. They have a lot of really cool fail-safe systems though that we've never lost stuff unfairly. Even if weird shit has happened to us, we always were able to get our body back. So they do have systems in place in the game. I mean, when you die, there's 3 places you can reload to. You can reload back to the original desert, back to a bedroll, or back to your bed. So if your place got destroyed and there's no bed there anymore, you have other ways to fucking respawn, or whatever the fuck happened, which I think is really fair and smart. I mean, the game is just smart. They have a lot of really good systems. They looked at other games in the genre and they improved upon almost everything, in my opinion. Yeah, I have like no complaints about the game. I would go higher than A minus, but I really try and reserve A and A plus, which I have not given on the channel yet. I don't think. For things that hit me in a more meaningful, emotional way that will last, the same as if you watch a great movie or read a great book. But A minus, man. For the genre, in my opinion, it's the best that there is, and I fucking love it. The only thing I wish they would add, but they said they're not going to do, is mounts. I think it's missing that. Other than that, it's fucking awesome. Can't wait to see what else they add to it if they keep adding stuff to it, which I heard they are. So A minus, fucking love it. Love the game.
I mean, we've probably spent like an hour talking about positive things about this game. So
He's gonna bring out the negatives now.
yeah, I was gonna say the three. I had 3 negative things for this game total, and that was, and they're nitpicks. I think there was the being stuck, close to someone thing. It's not like a bug or anything. Obviously, it's a limitation of the hardware, but I can't really knock it for it. But I do wish I could just wander, even in a co-op sense. The what was the other one I had? Oh, the stuff not loading every once in a while. That was annoying, but not enough for me to get mad and not play the game anymore with that as well. And then the falling through the map, I did fall through twice. That being said, I actually 100% agree with Seth. I think it's an A minus game. I have nothing to complain about. Those issues I had were so few and far between, and like you said, virtually every open world game I've ever played, I've fallen through the map.
Yeah.
It's not rare. It happens.
There's no donkey ladies in this.
So
No flying horses.
I'm not gonna talk it up anymore. We've done that already. So I just A minus. It's a great game. I think high grades across the board. If you were thinking about it, I would definitely just pull the trigger and play it. So.
Yeah, and it plays great on console. It looks great. I remember when maybe Ark looks better on console now, but I remember when I first played it on Xbox, when it was only on Xbox, it looked fucking awful. It looked like the lowest graphic settings on PC, and it looked like it was being played at less than 720. I mean, it looked really fucking bad.
That game was a fucking resource whore, though.
Yeah, and that's not even against the Xbox. That game on PC played like shit when it first came out. So I was like, can you even have a game like this on a console? And then, we're at this point now where a game like Conan, the only limitation is, if you're playing off the hardware, which was never intended to be running servers like that, you can't go too far, which I'm kind of a selfish asshole. And on my server, I kind of hate when people go and, destroy everything and find everything before I've even had a chance to look at anything yet. So I experienced that a lot in Minecraft. I have people who didn't really do anything, kill anything, or build anything. They would just run off and fucking leave torches on everything everywhere. And when I went exploring, it just looked like someone just fucking exploded with
Littered.
torches everywhere. I'm like,
fucking
yeah, it's like someone's throwing Coke cans and fucking trash bags everywhere. I'm like, this fucking sucks. So, in a weird, selfish way, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm kind of glad we can keep this local and we have to together go. It's more fun that way, in my opinion. But it is a limitation. So, you were saying something?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, my white trash ass fucking throwing up a hut and dumping shit all over the place.
You did that when we played ARP too. You just had a shack on the beach.
He had a fucking shack that was his head was going through the
Yeah,
ceiling.
I was too tall. I didn't fit in the fucking.
I went in there. I was like, this is fucking cramped. I never make a gigantic person. That shack sucked. And it's on the fucking. It's that van by the river. The fucking what's his name used to scream about.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is
That's
like
what you lived in.
But like, I didn't. I always felt like I was missing something because I had that. Like it was.
Yeah, dignity.
In art. But in fucking Conan, I was like, all right, this is home for now. And then, I'd wander, I'd kill, pillage, get stuff, and build what I could then. And,
It's interesting, though, because the
again.
dynamic of being a barbarian in Conan's world, you can build a giant empire if you want, but you can also just be like a nomad that goes around, kills people, steals shit,
caves
and
and
like
shit.
it feels less like you're inclined to make home base. You don't have to do that in any game, but like in most games like that, I'm like, we need a place to stay. This is where we need to be. But in Conan, I'm like, you can live off the fucking land as long as you can navigate. I mean, there's like a shelter system in the game that you can naturally find in caves and shit, or even rock walls and stuff. So I mean, like, you don't have to fucking stay anywhere, and it's pretty interesting. I don't want to go back into all the shit about this. We pretty much covered this game.
Yes.
But a lot of different playability and ways to go about. So B+, A-, A-, all high grades. Let us know in the comments, what did you think about Conan Exiles? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you not play it? Why didn't you play it? I think you should definitely check it out, especially if you have PlayStation Plus. Download it. You're running out of time. But if you played it, what'd you think of it? Did you like it? Do you think it's the best in the genre? Do you think there's other games? Did you prefer Ark? Do you prefer Rust somehow? Or any of these type of games? What's your favorite feature of the game? What's something cool that happened to you? There's so many stories. Maybe we'll do an episode where we talk about it more in depth. I don't know. We'll see. But, share your stories. There's so many things that happen in this game. And, grade it if you want to. But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club for April. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word. I dual stream when I stream. So if you want to watch me on YouTube or Twitch, you can do either or. It doesn't matter. Just hit the notification button to know when I go live. We have iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you want to listen to us, if you want to watch us, check us out on YouTube at Tasty Loot Gaming. We have Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're pretty much always on there every day, so there's a good chance you can talk to us about anything. Once we find out the Plus Club games for sure, for next month, we will be talking about that on probably Tasty Tuesday or something like that. But my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Josh.
And until the next episode, which will be Tasty Tuesday, but also we got to do Game of the Month. It might be slightly delayed. I'm sure you guys understand. And we'll be picking the new Game of the Month for May when that happens. But until that episode, take it easy, guys. And later.